Hi everyone. In this lecture, we will look at a very simple CMOS inverter based high gain amplifier which can be used for comparison purposes, voltage comparison purposes. Now let's say I want to compare an input signal Vi with a reference voltage Vref. What does the comparison operation entail? First, you will take the difference between Vi minus Vi and Vref. Once you take the difference, you will then amplify it by a huge amplification factor. That's what comparators do, right? If this amplification factor is so high that if your Vi is even slightly greater than Vref, your output will go to plus VDD. And if your Vi is slightly less than Vref, your output will go to minus VDD. If you assume a unipolar circuit, which is a CMOS inverter normally operates between 0 and VDD, your output will go to 0. This is what we call a non-inverting comparator. An inverting comparator is one in which the gain happens to be negative. If the gain is negative, first we compute the difference Vi minus Vref and multiply it by a huge negative factor. Then if Vi is greater than 0, Vi is greater than Vref, that gets multiplied by a huge negative factor, so your output will go to 0. The opposite happens. So if Vi is less than Vref, your V0 will be equal to plus VDD. The opposite of what happens in your non-inverting comparators happens in your inverting comparators. Okay, so all I need to do is two things. First, I need to subtract the two voltages, the input voltage and the reference voltage, and then apply it to a high gain amplifier. Now, if I want to use my inverter as a high gain amplifier, first you have to understand in what region should I keep my inverter in. So shown here is the transfer characteristics of a CMOS inverter. So let me just erase this part. This is not needed. Shown here is the transfer characteristics of a CMOS inverter. When your input signal is 0, output is VDD, and when your input signal is VDD, output goes to 0. And in between there is a very high gain transition region. The gain in this region is negative, which means your input, if your input decreases, if your input increases, output decreases. So the gain is negative. Now, if you want to get a very high gain amplification out of your CMOS inverter, then you have to bias your CMOS inverter, right? For any amplifier to give you, amplifiers are all generally nonlinear devices. To get good amplification out of them, what do? We first bias them. And for a CMOS inverter, in this region, the gain is 0. The gain is 0 in this region, and the gain is maximum in this region. Assuming the input signal can go symmetrically around either directions, we would prefer to bias the CMOS inverter at this center region, at this center point of this graph. Okay, so that point where the CMOS inverter curve is nearly symmetric is what we call switching threshold. This is a term that is used by digital engineers, and analog engineers also use it when we are using inverters as amplifiers. So how do you find it? We short circuit the input and the output node voltages and then find the node voltage that this goes to. When you short circuit input and output, the impedance seen at this node will be 1 by GMN plus GMP, right? You have two diode connected transistors in parallel. So the small signal input impedance will be assuming if I'm ignoring the lambda effect, which is I'm ignoring the output resistances of the MOSFETs. So then the impedance here will be a very low value, which will be 1 by GMN plus GMP. And the DC voltage here will be equal to VSW, which is called the switching threshold. So now if I have to use my CMOS inverter as a amplifier, what should I do? I should apply a DC voltage of V switching threshold. This is to ensure the biasing. Then on top of it, I should add this node voltage Vi minus Vref. See, what should I do? I should first compute Vi minus Vref. I'm assuming that is available to me. I'm adding a bias voltage of VSW. This I'm applying it to a CMOS inverter. Okay, so your CMOS inverter will then do Vi minus Vref multiplied by a huge gain of minus A. The gain here is the slope of this curve. I'm assuming this is minus A. Okay, it will multiply this difference by a factor of minus A, and if your input happens to be slightly greater than Vref, your output will go to 0. If your input happens to be slightly lower than Vref, your output will be close to VDD. And you can see it in this graph. So this is the point where you are applying. Okay, so this is the point where you are applying your input. So this is VSW, and if you are applying, let me call this node voltage as delta V, and delta V is simply Vi minus Vref. The difference in the two between the input and the reference voltage, I am calling it delta V. If your delta V is slightly greater than 0, your output goes to 0. If your delta V is slightly less than 0, your output goes to VDD. So that's what I am saying here. Okay, that's what I have written here. Just saying this happens when Vi is greater than Vref, and this happens when Vi is less than Vref. Now how do I achieve this? In analog comparator circuits, we accomplish this by using a switching operation. Okay, so shown here is a circuit which will try to do what I am just saying right now, okay, in a very interesting fashion. So for that, you will need two non-overlapping clock signals. So meaning the high levels of these two clock signals will never overlap. Okay, so there will be no overlapping regions between the high levels of these two clock signals. So step 1, we first ensure that the CMOS inverter is at the switch. So you first short circuit the input and the output of your CMOS inverter, and now you have a voltage VSW available to you. So this is like this will act like a voltage source with a very low impedance, right? So it's like a voltage source. You connect it to one end of a capacitor, and other end you connect it to a voltage reference of Vref. Okay. Now there is a path for charging this cap. It's like connecting a capacitor to a resistor. You can treat it like a resistor with a voltage source of plus V switching threshold. Assume this, RC time constant is so small that within this on period of the clock phi 1, this capacitor will be charged to a voltage of Vref minus VSW. The capacitor will be charged to a voltage of Vref minus VSW. In the next cycle, what I am going to do is that I am going to connect the input signal to one of the plates of the cap. So your circuit will look something like this. You are applying an input voltage here, then the inverter is now open circuited. The inverter is previously it was shorted, the input and output terminals of the inverter were shorted. Now we are just disconnecting the input and the output. There is no connection now. Now the inverter is in a high gain mode. So all we need to do is find out what does this node voltage come to. So for that, you can just use this fact. During the clock phi 1, when phi 1 was high, the capacitor was suddenly storing a charge of, I am assuming the cap value C, times Vref minus VSW. Okay, this node is at Vref, this node is at VSW. So the voltage across the cap is Vref minus VSW. Now in the second cycle, when I am connecting, when the other half of the cycle, when phi 2 goes high, phi 1 goes low, I am connecting one plate of the cap to Vn. The other plate of the cap is floating, right? The input to a CMOS inverter is a high impedance node, so therefore it's floating, therefore there is no path to charge this capacitance. Because there is no path to charge this capacitance, the charge across the cap will remain same as it was when phi 1 was high. What was that charge? That was Vref minus VSW. Okay, that was the voltage. Charge is C times this. The voltage across the cap will remain the same, which is Vref minus VSW. This node voltage will therefore come to V in minus Vref minus VSW, which is nothing but V in minus Vref plus VSW. So when phi 2 goes high, this node voltage comes to this value. And this is exactly what we discussed a few moments ago. We said that we need to first bias the CMOS inverter at the switching threshold and then apply this difference voltage. Then this CMOS inverter will amplify it by a huge gain minus A given by, I haven't written the expression for the gain, it will be approximately GMN plus GMP times RON parallel ROP. This will be the CMOS inverter's gain with a negative sign. Okay, so it will amplify this by this huge factor, and then therefore this circuit will act like a comparator. So this is how you use a very simple CMOS circuit, CMOS inverter as a very high gain comparator in high speed applications. In very high speed applications, when you can't, let's say you're not able to put a cascade of multiple stages, each stage has to amplify, so it is going to take some time. Each stage will have its own time constant, so it'll take some time. So therefore, if you want all the gain out of a single stage, this is a very simple architecture for voltage comparison. Okay, so the one phase, if you monitor the output of this inverter, whenever your phi 1 is high, it's going to be VSW. But when phi 1 is 0, it will contain, when phi 1 is 0, it will contain the comparison voltage information. Okay, it would have either gone to plus VDD or 0, depending on if your Vin is greater than Vref or not. Okay, so this comparator's output is meaningful only for half the cycle, and the other half cycle it will be trying to charge this capacitor, which will generate the bias voltage for amplification. So I thought it's an interesting circuit. I wanted to share it with you guys, and which is why I'm not including it in the analog electronics playlist. This is more of an analog IC design playlist circuit. So yeah, thank you.